Welcome back to Eye on South Asia. Sunil, what's our next story?
Next hot story is very good. Just right off the press, the Republican Party of Florida has announced once again Dr. Akshay Desai, he's actually nicknamed as AK, as the chairman of the Finance Committee for Republican Party of Florida.
Okay.
And they have spoken very highly about him. Of course, Dr. Desai is a very decorated person, and he has his own venture which is called the Universal Healthcare Group. He is the chairman of the board, he is the president, and he is the CEO. And he has been serving the healthcare community in different positions, but he has been generally a great fundraiser for Republicans, and this is an election year. And Florida obviously plays a major role for them.
Yeah.
So they are looking at him to help manage good fundraising, and so they have named him as the chairperson of the Finance Committee, which is a good accomplishment for a man who is not, he's a very young guy, and he's done well and puts Indians into a good light.
Right. And we'll see how that affects the general election as well.
Well, he'll bring tons of money, and
Right.
Republicans have a lot to spend.
Oh,
They
yeah.
need every penny. I mean, they are rich group anyway. They're a rich party.
Yeah.
But people like Akshay make it richer when they raise the funds for it.
Right.
Mr. Anish Chopra, we reported, has quit from Obama administration. He was the chief technology officer, and he has moved on. And the speculation was that he may be going to be positioning himself with the governor as the lieutenant governor for Virginia. But it seems he had other ideas. And he has gone back to his original company, the advisory board company, and they are into research, technology, and consulting firm based out of Washington, D.C. And he will be working with them once again, as he had been working before taking this position. And the administration has spoken very, very highly about him, and they've very clearly said that he was responsible for helping develop a national wireless strategy and internet policy and initiatives related to more transparent government functioning, and including going all over the country and meeting with the states and the private companies to encourage them use good technology platforms. And it's so interesting, Bhavna, in these two vital positions, Chief Technology Officer and Chief Information Officer, both were
We're
Indians.
Indian Americans.
And CIO was Vivek Kundra. So it speaks volumes about India's real global dominance as a country that has provided people in the technology and information side. India has done exceedingly well. That has been the backbone since 1996 for last 15 years.
Yes.
So we need to look at this segment and this expertise of India and the professionals from India to build the relationship going forward, instead of looking at what we talked about, dropping H1, denying H1, denying L1s.
Oh, I know. That is not the way to go.
Yep. Parita Shah, she has quit and joined a lobbying firm as the vice president. And Parita, if you may recollect, has been with the Obama administration. She was earlier the press secretary for the Commerce Secretary, and the Commerce Secretary Gary Loke has been named now as the ambassador to China, and his successor, Commerce Secretary John Bryson, has come in, but somehow it seems that they were not in the best relationship, and she was the deputy secretary, deputy director, but I think she has moved on and joined the Washington, D.C. lobbying firm.
Right. Well, it sounds like she got a great opportunity, because she was snapped up by APCO Worldwide as the vice president.
Well, once you are in the hot seat that she was in as the deputy director in the Commerce Secretary,
you can go anywhere from there.
Because you have the networking, you understand the system, the best thing is go make money.
Exactly.
Some sad story which we have been reporting regularly with the updates. It started in March when one group, Six for Justice in America, filed a lawsuit against the Indian government in New York court.
And this is the Congress Party, correct?
Yes, the government is found primarily led by the Congress Party, and it's about the 1984 riots, where lots of Sikhs were hurt, killed, butchered, and their has really not been a justice to that so far. So a case was filed. The judge even gave the government to make a presentation or file a counter against it, gave an extension, but it seems they have not responded. So they may be even in contempt, and that will be coming up in the month of March.
Right.
And I guess not a very good idea, because the group has been demanding for a compensatory and punitive damages in the tune of $17.5 billion from Congress Party.
Yes, and they say that, this is reflecting a total of more than 35,000 claims of deaths. In that sense, they're justifying the numbers of punitive damages.
Oh, of course. Every single human life lost
exactly.
for no right reasons is worth. There's no money that can justify, but their families suffered and hurt. So this is the kind of numbers they're talking about here.
Yeah.
Bhavna, moving to the next story about this Anil Pathi. He's big time in news, and CBS has reported that it is the biggest ever medical fraud in research. And all along we have been reporting about the medical professionals, which is doctors and medical centers and testing centers running into fraudulent practices and being booked by the government. But here is a different situation. Dr. Anil Pathi, who was an oncologist and worked at the Duke University as a faculty, and he had come up with a research which he published in 2006 and had talked about personalized genetic based treatment which could be used to combat cancer.
Right.
And he went on from there to start a company of his own with his partner Joseph Nervins, which was essentially based on this research and to monetize this model.
Right. And in Duke, where he used to work, they were so excited about this research, and they called it the holy grail of cancer. Because he had used these papers and everything that he had written to basically treat patients, and in the end they're finding all these errors in his research and even just inconsistencies in his background, his education and stuff like that. So there's a real problem with that, and they're conducting a scientific misconduct investigation regarding this.
He is in big trouble.
Yes.
I'm telling you, look, you were to go on to any main channel, he was all over the news, and which is again not a good thing for the Indian medical professionals, and they need to be more, or even research scientists, because he was mostly in the research side of it.
Yes.
Continuing from the story we reported on our own Lavita Gomes, she died in Chicago in a jail. And she was picked up for not reporting for jury duty while she's an Indian. She's not even an American citizen when she's not even required to. She refused to go for it.
Yeah.
And I don't think it was enough for somebody to lose life. And the protest has come in from the Indian community in terms of the leaders from Midwest, and they all got together. And they had in fact invited the Consul General from Chicago, Mukta Datta Tomar, but she didn't attend. And they have huge issue that we lost a big life, a very important life of a very smart person.
Yes, and they were mainly covering this issue on why the authorities in this court did not inform the Indian consulate regarding what she was going through, or even the abuse that she might have been going through in jail. And after the death, all of the actions in this this situation, wasn't reported to her own consulate.
They even did not give, one of the consuls from the consulate has reported, they were not able to even get the exact immediate details of her immediate relations so that they can figure out how to get her body back to her family. So it was a very bad handling. I think the consulate has to assert very strongly, because that is the home for every person of Indian origin.
Yes, and it's their responsibility to protect their citizens and know what's going on in the case of abuse.
Yeah, well, even if you are a citizen and people of Indian origin, consulate directly does not have a direct jurisdiction of them, but consulate has a lot of responsibility.
Yes.
And the American authorities have to interact with them when such situation comes. They could have saved a life here.
Yeah.
Moving on with the next story, Bhavna, we have something very, very interesting. This is a first time, a record, largest wedding photo album is being created by the well-known company called Bharat Matrimony. And the CEO, the founder and the CEO, Janaki Raman Murugavel, actually is the other way, Murugavel Janaki Raman. He's from New Jersey. He's moved back to India now. He lives in Chennai. And they have come with a very interesting idea, kicking off from Valentine's Day to the what they call the wedding day on April, or the matrimony day on April 14th. They have a goal to have 1 million people who will be uploading their wedding pictures to a site called millionweddingspics.com. And they had invited India's former captain, internationally respected, known Kapil Dev, and his wife Romi Dev. They are a very good couple. They are very well respected, ideal couple. And they were the first person to be uploading their wedding pictures to the site. And now anybody who is married and is allowed to upload their pictures from the wedding and put it up on the site, and they will be declaring it. And this is a 2-month run-up where they will have this kind of a world record they want to create.
And just to confirm, this isn't marriages as a result of Bharat Matrimony. It's just all marriages.
Yeah, it's anybody.
Yeah.
Anybody anywhere in the world could be uploading their picture, first picture, but it has to be first picture.
Oh, okay. Well, that's beautiful. I think that's a great idea.
Yep.
And it's a great marketing scheme as well.
It's a very good marketing scheme. Bharat Matrimony is the globally recognized #1 India's matrimonial online service, and they have now expanded into the other parts of Southeast Asia, which includes Bangladesh, which includes Sri Lanka, which includes Pakistan. They have now similar services for these 3 countries.
Yes,
And
they have coverage for every different region in India and
the subcontinent.
Yeah, exactly.
Coming back to our own neighborhood in New York, on 74th Street, Jackson Heights, what they call Little India in the true sense, where we used to all go and shop when we came first to this country, or even go to eat Indian food, which you can
in
find
Queens,
on every block today otherwise.
Yeah.
There was a very nice movie theater at one time, actually, and it used to show movies. It's called the Eagle Theater. It's a 500-seat capacity, but it has run into a little bit of an issue because of the business. Many of the old movie theaters were picked up by the international theater chain or entertainment company from India called Big, and they're all branded as Big Cinema, and they were bailed out. A lot of the theaters were picked up by them, renovated. I guess they must have had plans to pick up this theater also in the second round, but they could not execute it so far. So a movie theater, Eagle, ran into financial challenges because of the advent of the coming in of the DVDs and the Blu-ray, and then the piracy issue. So people are not necessarily stepping into a theater.
They just couldn't keep up.
So they could not keep up. So they made an announcement. I think the owners had made an announcement last in the Wall Street Journal that they will be converting it into a bank. And his reason was it will not be difficult for him to collect his money.
But eventually now they're starting a South Asian supermarket and food court.
Very interesting, and the other people in the neighborhood are very, very surprised that this is being done to such a facility, but it's a very perfect location. And
there are already a couple of grocery stores and
you can still not go wrong.
They
will do very well.
Yeah.
There is no question. You cannot go wrong with this kind of a product. Moving on to almost the last story, we have the Pakistani journalist. Her documentary has been nominated to Oscar. It's a very nice story, very nice movie she has made. Her name is Sharmeen Obaid Chinoy, and this is her latest documentary called Saving Face. It's a beautiful story of a Pakistani doctor who lives in Britain now, and he goes back to Pakistan and helps the cosmetic surgery of women who have been abused by throwing acid on their face. And some of them may have been even burned. So this is quite a bit of prevalent thing in India and Pakistan, and this doctor goes and helps those women to get their faces back.
Right, and she's really shedding light on this issue, and it's a positive, uplifting story. So, you know, it gives exposure to this doctor, as well as, you know, hopefully some
Both angles,
legislation
yeah.
and something can be passed regarding
Very nice
this.
angle. It gives hope to the women,
Absolutely.
and because they're getting their new face, and about the emotional side of this doctor who goes back
Yes.
to serve his fellow countrymen back home.
Yeah.
Last, very good news again from our talented Yuvraj Singh, who has been struggling against the cancer. He was detected with the cancer and lung cancer, which was found malignant, and he is still in Boston. His first cycle of chemotherapy has done very well for him, and he has tweeted and said, "Got very good news from Dr. Lawrence today. The tumor is almost out of my system," and I guess thumbs up.
And just to put this in context, I mean, he had a golf ball sized tumor, and for that to be on, you know, his way to that, it's a very, you know, quick and great recovery for him. So.
Yep. But he is a man. He's a very, very tough man. He's very you know, aggressive. He's done very well for India. He almost won single-handedly the T20 and then the World Cup. His determination, I think it has to do with his determination.
He's a fighter, yeah.
He's a fighter. That's the right term.
Yeah. Well, that's great news. To wrap up our show, that's all the time we have for today. Also, find us on YouTube. Our YouTube channel is Eye on South Asia, all one word. And find us on Facebook as well. Click like on our Facebook page to become a fan and catch up on all your updates on the show and your favorite episodes as well. So, it's Bhavna Vanan signing off. We'll see you next week.
And I'm Sunil Hali. Do log in on the Facebook. Bhavna just created that, and it's your constant companion with the latest updates in the community week after week. You have a great weekend. See you next week. Signing off, Sunil Hali.